there is one non-league team that will be apparently rescued by Hollywood. So Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney from Always Sunny in Philadelphia are part of a group that are ready to take over Wrexham.
Oh my God, can you imagine all this screaming in the locker room?
Honestly, when I saw this on Twitter last night, I had to check it 4 or 5 times. I love this story. I hope they're semi-serious about it, right? I hope it is a serious investment.
Not like in the TV show.
Yeah, I hope it's, well thought out. But this could be great for Wrexham. They're a very historical team. They used to be in the league for a long time. They've beaten Arsenal in one of the biggest FA Cup upsets of all time. Big following in North Wales. I think, hopefully, I'm rooting for you, Wrexham. Hopefully this takeover goes through and you'll start getting Hollywood A-listers down at the racecourse.
Let's see how this one goes. So, about Europe, we've highlighted the 3 main headlines. And the first one is Bayern Munich winning their first game of the new season 8-0. They, as we are recording, it's Thursday tonight. They're going to play the UEFA Super Cup against Sevilla. And Bayern Munich reminded us today on Instagram of their road to the Champions League final.
This is ridiculous, guys.
So Bayern Munich are the first team to win every single game of their Champions League campaign and to win the trophy in the end. Their scores to get there: 3-0, 2-7, that was Tottenham, 2-3, 2-0, 6-0, 3-1, 3-0, 4-1, 8-2 Barcelona, 3-0, and 1-0. How about that?
That team is it's a steamroller. I know it's a cliche, but it's German efficiency at its finest, right?
At its finest. And then Ansu Fati, hey bro, you've got a release clause? Yeah? 400 million euros.
It feels like Barcelona use these release clauses as like a prison sentence now with Messi. It's crazy, but that is a statement. We talked about him in the first episode, I think. Ansu Fati, hell of a prospect, and Barcelona clearly want to keep hold of him.
And staying in Spain, from Barcelona to Madrid. I
love this.
Suarez. It just makes so much sense. If you had showed me 2 years ago the picture of Griezmann wearing a Barca jersey and then Suarez wearing an Atletico kit, I would have not believed you. But right now that it happened, it just makes so much sense.
Simeone and Suarez together. It's like this evil couple coming together with Diego Costa is still there, I believe. Some defenders are going to have to deal with Costa and Suarez at the same time.
I can't wait to see next year's Clásico, Suarez and Diego Costa against Sergio Ramos.
It's just a shame that Pepe's not there anymore. This could have been a lot of fun.
Maybe he's going to come back last minute to just play that one game. All right, and we're all done with our Euro review. And today, we're currently sitting at 1-0 for Tommaso against Ruairi with the weekly quiz. It's Ruairi with his trivia today. Let's see if you can guess.
I'm out for revenge. Let's go, guys. Hello and welcome back to the hotly anticipated Ruairi's Game. So this week I'm going to be quizzing Tommaso and seeing if I can trip him up like he tripped me up last week. So quickly I'm going to go through some clues for this mystery player. So he was born on the 22nd of January 1977.
Oh, great hint.
Okay, so you have a rough idea of his age,
right? Yeah, fine.
You do the math. Okay, he played for Perugia. He was only the second person from this country to play in Italy, and he also had a brief spell at Bolton Wanderers in England. So those are your clues. Those are your clues. Born in 1977. Really? No, come on.
Is he Gaddafi's son? No.
Well, I'm not going to say it now, am I?
Well, I don't know. Is he Gaddafi's son?
It's not Gaddafi's son, right? He was born in 1977. He was only the second person from his country to play in Italy. He played for Perugia, and he played for Bolton in England. Those are your clues.
That's it?
Yep.
Can I ask you questions that you answer yes and no to?
Yeah.
Right. Did he play for any other teams?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. No, because I thought his career was only Perugia
and
Bolton
it's only
Wanderers.
Perugia and Bolton.
All right. Has he Has he ever won a Serie A title?
Yes.
Yes, he has. All right. Third question. Was he born outside of Europe?
Yes.
All right. I think I've got an idea. All right. Well, I'll give you the thought. So Perugia were looking sweet in the 90s. So he was born in 1977. They had quite a squad. So he was probably playing in Perugia around 1997, 96, 97, 98, something like that. Yeah, I'll give it a thought. Bolton Wanderers is a team I have zero knowledge of. So,
well, they were in the Premier League for a while, and now they are not doing well.
All right. Well, Rory is back with a vengeance because I have no clue right now. But
I think I might have him, guys. Touch wood.
All right. Yeah, we'll see at the end. Right now, it's time for our weekly topic, and we're going to talk about our favorite tournament.
I'm excited about this. It's something I've always had a bit of an obsession about. It is the Anglo-Italian Cup.
All right, let's go.
Welcome back, listeners, and welcome to our first ever weekly topic.
Yeah!
Which is the Anglo-Italian Cup. So this was where we got the idea of the name for our podcast from. Not very imaginative, I'm English, Tommy's Italian, but it works, right? Now, this was a tournament that for me, growing up watching Crewe Alexandra lower league football, this seemed so exotic to me, the opportunity to play European teams. And realistically, it was the closest that Crewe Alexandra were ever going to get to play in European teams. So ever since, I've always had a bit of a fascination of why did it happen? What was it? Why did it go? How did it work? And this week, I've spent lots of time looking into it, or we've spent lots of time looking into it. And spoiler alert, none of it makes much sense, but it seemed like a lot of fun.
And it's also very difficult to find information about this. So it's easier to find information about the Prussian Empire, I don't know, in the 1700s than to find information about something that ended in 1996.
Yeah, it's like someone's made an active effort to wipe this from the face of the earth.
Which is strange because it just adds to the mystery around this tournament.
It makes me more fascinated.
It's very mysterious. When we were choosing a name for our website and podcast, Rory asked me, do you remember the Anglo-Italian Cup? And it rang a bell. I was born in 1992. The Anglo-Italian Cup stopped officially in 1996, so I was only 4 years old. But I had a vague memory of this name. And then we decided to call our podcast The Anglo-Italian Connection. And here we are, talking to you about one of the most mysterious tournaments in football history.
Yeah, I think it made sense to name ourselves after it. It's a bit weird, doesn't make much sense. It's all over the place. So let's start with the founder, who I know you've been looking into.
So he's the founder of this competition, and it's a very interesting story. His name was Gigi Peronacci. He was born on November 29th, 1925, in a small town in Calabria. In case you're not familiar with Italian geography, Calabria is the southernmost tip before Sicily. Very poor area, I believe, especially at that time. So the town where he was born was Severato. He was originally a goalkeeper, and during World War II, when the British troops got to southern Italy, he organized the football tournaments that he played in with British soldiers. After the war, he moved to Turin to study engineering. But since his English was so good, he was also recruited by Juventus to become the official interpreter of their Scottish manager, William Chalmers. After Chalmers was fired, his successor, Jesse Carver, who was also a British man, needed an interpreter. Peronacci worked for him, but when Carver was sacked, Peronacci was let go. Now, this is where the history gets interesting, because up to 1957, Peronacci was only a football enthusiast who had got the opportunity to work as an interpreter at a club. But here is where the story gets interesting. So in 1957, English manager Alex Stock was looking for a move to Italy, and he was looking for a Serie A club that he could coach. So he was put in contact with Gigi Peronacci. Gigi Peronacci flew to England. They had a talk, and he said, don't worry about it. I will find you a team to manage starting from next September. And he did. He convinced AS Roma that Alex Stock was the right manager for them, and he got the job. He lasted only 1 year. So,
of course, in Rome, yes.
Yeah, so that says a lot about this Gigi figure. He must have been a very persuasive guy. And in fact, as you will find out, he was the very first real football agent and manager in world football. Because then, after he convinced after he managed to get Alex Stock, get the Roma job, he managed his first transfer with a football player who went by the name of John Charles.
The gentleman. This is a player who still, his name is etched in Juventus folklore. He's still regularly voted in their top 10 players of all time. He was a Welshman born in Swansea in 1931. He went on to win 3 Scudetti with the old lady, as well as 2 Coppa Italias. And he is one of the first British players, if not the first British player, to go abroad and make a real stamp on that league and the fan base. And the fact that Peronacci had such a key role in bringing him to this country, I think is interesting. There were other players who he brought to Italy as well. He brought along Dennis Law. He brought Jimmy Greaves, who, when asked about living in Italy, famously said, "It's like living in another country."
Jimmy.
Which sums up the kind of attitude, I think, of players moving abroad at the time. And I just find this guy fascinating. The idea of him being the first super agent in the 40s, 50s is incredible, I think.
And he became so reliable that he also landed the general manager job for the Italy national football team. And he worked with Bearzot when Bearzot was manager. He worked at the 1978 World Cup, at the 1980 European Football Championship, and then unfortunately he had a heart attack in 1980 and he died allegedly in Bearzot's arms. But before passing away, this first agent, this very pioneeristic manager, was that correct?
Yeah, pioneeristic. Let's go with it. Let's go with it.
Let's go. Thank you, English teacher.
It's okay.
I am also an English teacher, but sometimes I just try and guess. Before dying, he did something big. He created the first Anglo-Italian Cup. Ruairi.
Good. So where did it all come from? So it came from, predictably, Arsenal losing a cup final.
What?
Yeah. So Arsenal, at the time first division team, of course, lost to Swindon Town, who at the time were in the 3rd tier of English football. Now, UEFA's rules at the time said that no team from the 3rd tier could play in European competition. So the FA were looking for a way to compensate them without kind of obviously putting them in the European Cup or the UEFA Cup. So they managed... So Peronacci kind of brokered this deal.
Peronacci.
Peronacci, sorry. My Italian still isn't great. He brokered this deal between the English and Italian leagues to set up a cup just for the winner of the Coppa Italia and the League Cup or FA Cup. It was the League Cup at the time. So the first final was a 2-legged affair between Roma and Swindon. Now, just seeing that fixture got my attention straight away. I was like, I've got to see what happened here. So in Rome at the Stadio Olimpico, in front of 50,000 people.
That's mad. 50,000?
50,000, right? In a team that included Fabio Capello, or Postman Pat, as he's known in the UK. Roma ran out 2-1 winners, and Swindon thought that they were done. Roma with a much bigger side, much more history. Swindon still 3rd tier, remember, right? They'd just been promoted, so 2nd tier. But in the return leg in Swindon, in front of a less impressive 12,000 people at the county ground, Swindon won out 4-0 winners. So Roma obviously didn't travel well, and Swindon were the first winners of the Anglo-Italian Cup.
So before we get into details, this was very hard to figure out because, as we told you, there is not much information around it. But there were 3 phases of the Anglo-Italian Cup. The first phase ran from 1970 to 1973, and it's called the professional era. Then it became semi-professional from 1975 to 1986, a period during which it also became known as the Gigi Peronacci Memorial because he had passed away in 1980. And then it became professional again, but it ran only from 1992 to 1996.
Exactly. So we're going to take you through kind of the main memories of the tournament, why it's looked back on quite fondly from quite a lot of people on the internet, as I've found.